brothers.
Boy, I come here to get busy, and it won't be no different from all the previous killers. I don't miss with this, rap tighter than a Nike shoebox with socks is a Christmas gift. Can't swap a verse with me, I'm a saint till I ain't. Then somehow you shake with a fleur-de-lis. I don't need an army to arm me in me unless it's plenty. Don't care who do this or did it, I'm still gonna do my did it, coming with it. My people love me cause that's what I give them. Yeah, I bump heads with them, but a bust yours for playing with them. I cut the line to get in front of who you thought was next. I'm usually humble about this, but this ain't the time for that. So as long as these rappers know it ain't safe trying to try me, then hey, les éléments en brûlés. You must not know I get out. I don't know what you come to do, but I come to do my thing. I don't know what you come to do, but I come to do my thing. Stop playing with me.
All right, y'all. Welcome to Hanging with July and Will. A special episode with the first ever debater to come on a podcast to debate James Coaching Ball. How you doing today, sir?
And it's good to be back, man. How y'all doing? How we doing?
Man, we good. We're just chilling, getting ready to talk about this NFL right quick. You know, gonna talk a little about the Saints. Gonna talk Baker Mayfield. Gonna talk Cam Newton. But I'm gonna start off with you first, Will. With the first topic, we're gonna talk about the success of Sean Payton since he first got to New Orleans to right now. Now, Sean Payton, word is, before he got hired at New Orleans, he wanted the I forgot what job he wanted. Was it the Green Bay or the Dallas job?
It was the Cowboys, wasn't it?
Yeah, he wanted the Cowboys job, but he couldn't get that job. But things worked in his favor. He ended up getting Drew Brees. New Orleans was coming from a disaster with Hurricane Katrina, and him and Drew Brees together helped build that Saints franchise up. But my question is, Sean Payton would right now I consider him my coach of the year. But as far as his career, aside not Drew Brees' career, as far as Sean Payton's career, how do y'all feel about Sean Payton's career in New Orleans? I'm gonna start off with you, Will, first.
Oh, well, I'll say, man, you know I'm a Saints fan, so I'm gonna try to be as unbiased as possible. You got to realize two things happen. Two things happen. It's more than two, but I'm gonna say two significant things. If anybody really, that watch football, Drew Brees was very pedestrian with the Chargers. I mean, he was decent. He wasn't just setting the world on fire when he was with the Chargers. He was a very pedestrian quarterback. They didn't believe in him. That's why they drafted Phillip Rivers. First of all, next thing is New Orleans did not have a lot of success as an organization prior to Sean Payton arriving. You know what I mean? So when you think about those two things, he directly impacted both of them. The trajectory of Drew Brees' career and the trajectory of this organization and what they're able to do right now. Because every year in and year out, man, I would say at least the last 5 years for sure, people are picking the Saints as a top 5 team that's a contender for the Super Bowl every year. And that's something that's directly reflective of the job Sean Payton has done. Now, when you break down the X's and O's and you're talking about play calling and things of that nature, it's a very short list of people that you can put on Sean Payton's level that's in the NFL right now. And I think that list stops and starts with Andy Reid and Kyle Shanahan. Other than that, don't bring nobody else to me when you're talking about offensive play calling. Because people will throw out boy genius Sean McVay. Well, I like Sean McVay. We've seen what Sean McVay doesn't know how to adjust in game. If their running game isn't working, the Rams will struggle. Go watch the games. When Gurley was punching through boys, you know what I'm saying? 5 yards a carry, you know what I mean? You can run that play action and go over the top. When that run game's not working, he doesn't know how to adjust and bring in a different scheme, to make his players be successful. And that's the issue I have with McVay, but we're not talking about him right now. But when you're talking about offensive play calling, man, I don't want to hear any other names being compared to Sean Payton other than maybe a Kyle Shanahan and an Andy Reid. But when you're looking at a totality of a head coach, he changed that whole organization, man, that whole structure of that organization. When people talk about culture, he's the culture of the New Orleans Saints.
All right. And James, Coaching Ball, I wanted to get with you when it comes to Sean Payton. I know you had said his ability to coach without Drew Brees. You want to talk about that for a second?
Man, listen, I want Wilk, like, hey man, I'm with you on that. Only thing I push back on McVay, I think he struggles play calling wise because Jared Goff is limited. Jared Goff is great with play action. Once that shit is gone, he's not the best at reading the defense. And if you're gonna add somebody else's play calling, I'm gonna call Josh McDaniel because he does a hell of a job down in New England.
That's fair.
But
That's fair. That's fair.
to get back to Drew Brees to Sean Payton. I'm an offensive guy by trade, you know, as a football coach, many years as offensive coordinator. So I look at it a little different. Sean Payton in the last 10, 15 years is probably the most consistent offensive coach there is in football. He could go down as one of the best offensive minds to ever come through the NFL. And if you look at it, like you said, Drew Brees is very pedestrian in San Diego. People talk about him now about how many screen passes he throws and how he leads the league in balls thrown behind the line of scrimmage and all that good stuff. Well, if he's throwing that many balls behind the line of scrimmage, why is their offense always top in the league? All right, he turned Drew Brees into a Hall of Famer. He got Teddy Bridgewater $40 million guaranteed. He has Taysom Hill, who's basically a Tim Tebow 2.0, steering this ship to the number one seed. So I think that Sean Payton is grossly underrated. Everybody talk about, he always chokes in the Super Bowl. Last I checked, Sean Payton wasn't out there trying to tackle nobody with his head down against the Minnesota Vikings. Sean Payton ain't get hit out of bounds on a pass interference that should have been called. That ain't had nothing to do with Sean Payton. Sean Payton wasn't guard the tight end in the back of the end zone the second time they played Minnesota. But just to give him, Sean Payton got the job in 2006. Sean Payton didn't get his first All-Pro wide receiver until 12 years later when Michael Thomas made the All-Pro first team as a receiver. Marcus Costa, none of those other guys were All-Pro first team. Sean Payton didn't have an All-Pro running back until 13 years later when Alvin Kamara was second team All-Pro. And Jimmy Graham came 7 years in 2013 into Sean Payton's tenure when they had already won a Super Bowl. That Super Bowl year, he relied on Reggie Bush, who everybody called the bus, Pierre Thomas, a hometown legend in Appaloosa from Devery Henderson, Robert Meacham, Marcus Colston, Lance Moore. None of those receivers ever made a Pro Bowl. Everybody's talking about how good Marcus Colston was. He never made a Pro Bowl. He never was All-Pro. But I'm going to give you just a few stats on Sean Payton, the play caller. His 1 year as a play caller with the New York Giants, it was top 3 in offense and top 3 in scoring in the NFC. Won the NFC Championship, and they lost to the Ravens in the Super Bowl. Sean Payton has been an NFL head coach for 15 years. He's had a top 5 offense 10 years. That's over 64% of the time he's had a top 5 offense. He's had a top 5 scoring offense 7 times. He's had a top 10 offense 15 of his 16 years calling plays. That's 93%. He's had a top 10 scoring offense 13 of his 16 years. That's 86%. That is second all time to only Vince Lombardi, who's had a top 5, top 10 scoring offense 96% of his career. He's led the league in offense and come from 2006. He was ranked in the offense from 2006, first, fourth, sixth, first, second, fourth, first, second, ninth, eighth, second, and this year they're currently 12th, and the season isn't over with. As a job as the offensive coordinator, it's not always about scoring. The job of an offensive coordinator is to matriculate offense because touchdowns become a product of gaining offense. If you gain 100 yards, you're bound to get a fucking touchdown. So your job is to manufacture offense. Sean Payton has done that better than almost anyone that you can name. If you go look at Andy Reid, he's had Donovan McNabb, who, whatever you like, love him or what, he's probably going to get into the Hall of Fame. He's had a Terrell Owens. He's had a Brian Westbrook. He has a Patrick Mahomes. Besides Drew Brees, Sean Payton hasn't even had Pro Bowl caliber talent at the receiver position. And besides Jimmy Graham, the tight ends from Jared Cook and Holstein and all these other guys, he has moved mountains with shovels. Like I said, Sean Payton is by far one of the most underappreciated coaches in the NFL.
Man.
Hey, I agree with everything you said except for one thing. Reggie Bush not a bust. Reggie Bush an underachiever, but he definitely wasn't a bust.
I only call him a bust because he was picked second overall. And to not have a Pro Bowl and to be a second overall pick is a bit of a bust, but I'll remove the bust. I'll say he underachieved.
Okay.
Hey, let me jump in too with the Reggie Bush. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think Reggie Bush was before his time though. Reggie Bush would have thrived in today's game. The problem is,
I agree.
During Reggie Bush time when he was originally drafted, we looked at running backs differently. We didn't too much care about the receptions out the backfield and things of that nature. Yeah, that was cool. That was a plus. We were more concerned with being a natural runner. You know what I mean? And your ability to run in between the tackles. Man, Reggie Bush in today's league, oh my goodness.
Hey, but Will, that just goes to show how good of a coach Sean Payton was.
Right.
Even though Bush was before his time, he still found a way to make him productive.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah. And to close off that topic, I did have Mike Tomlin as my coach of the year, but I said Sean Payton was second. But after that loss to the Redskins, like I only seen Mike Tomlin winning coach of the year if the Pittsburgh Steelers would have went undefeated. I always say I got Sean Payton second, but since Pittsburgh lost to Washington, Sean Payton easily number one to me. Like it's not even close. I mean, Andy Reid might be second, but when it comes to Sean Payton with what he's doing with Taysom Hill and how that defense got better, still haven't lost without Drew Brees. I mean, I got Sean Payton as my coach of the year right now. Easy.
I wish they could break it in half because if you think about it, Mike Tomlin got rid of the best running back in Le'Veon Bell. He got rid of the starting wide receiver and lost 2 offensive linemen, and nothing changed. He actually got better. The only reason why they lost the Redskins, that was their 3rd game in 20 days. I mean, I'm just saying. Trish. I love Mike T, man.
I do too. Mike Tomlin, one of my favorite coaches.
We're going to get into this next topic. I want to talk about Carson Wentz. When Carson Wentz first got drafted, with him and Jared Goff, I said Carson Wentz was better. When people was comparing Dak and Carson Wentz, I was saying Carson Wentz was better. But now, like, now that I really got to get to see him, look at the stats, see Jalen Hurts taking the spot, man, it's kind of hard not to argue that Carson Wentz is becoming what you talked about for Reggie Bush. Like, he's becoming a bust. Like, if you don't make it happen if you don't make it happen for the Eagles this year or the next year, I might have to agree with you, James, coaching ball. It might be over for him as a starting quarterback.
Yeah.
I'm going to start with you on this one, coaching ball.
And listen, I was in the same camp with you. 2 years in a row, I won a fantasy league with Carson Wentz as my starting quarterback. So I had a whole lot of faith in Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz throws a great deep ball. That's why he put up great numbers when he had Deshaun Jackson, and he was able to give Ertz a lot of room to work in the middle of the field. He has a big arm. He's a big kid. He can extend plays. He can use his feet to buy time. What hurt Carson Wentz from jump, he never was very accurate, and his mechanics suffer when he's rushed and he feels pressure. He holds the ball entirely too long now because now he doesn't have that deep threat on either side of the field now. You know what I'm saying? Alshon Jefferson's been going all year. Even though he had a lot of bad drops. Nelson Aguilar still caught a lot of big balls, early in Carson Wentz's career. You don't have Deshaun Jackson, that big deep threat anymore. So, and you don't have that same consistent running game that you had before. All those things make a quarterback that has the tools. And same thing with Baker Mayfield. When you put a lot of tools around him, I look better than I am. But once you start stripping away certain tools, you start seeing bigger and bigger deficiencies. Just when you see the difference in how he diagnosed the field compared to Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts goes to a second read just like that. If this guy's not open, I'm throwing the ball right here. Carson Wentz continues to hold the ball. And I was one of the guys at the beginning of the year, like, his offensive line is letting him down. His offensive line. But you saw the difference when Jalen Hurts got in there. If you throw the ball quick enough, if you're on time with your throws, it doesn't matter how bad your offensive line is. You're always on throw and you're on rhythm. Also, Doug Peterson has gotten exposed. Everybody thought he was this big offensive mind. He was that guy. And again, Doug Peterson is a high school coach from Louisiana. I've actually got a chance to meet him and talk with him. He's a very smart guy. But he believes in one set way. This is how we're going to do it. Frank Wright was the guru behind all the passing plays. That was his guy. That was his passing game guy. once Frank Wright got the head coaching job now, he no longer has that guy to go to, and now he's stuck in the same pattern with Carson Wentz. Then if Jalen Hurts continues to play like it is, it's going to be hard to even move Carson Wentz, because if they cut him tomorrow, he counts on that cap for $54 million. So it's like he's stuck with him, and no one is going to trade for that contract. Just even worse about that, if they keep him for one more year and they cut him in 2 years, he still counts for $27.5 million against their cap. So you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't.
Either way.
Yeah. What's your thoughts, bro?
Nah, he brought up some good points. I wrote some stuff down because everything that you were saying was kind of what I was reiterating in the group. Now let me put it out there. I'm not a Carson Wentz hater. I like Wentz. And I think I'm on board with y'all. I would even go as far as saying that I thought he was more talented than Dak. Thought he was better than Jared Goff. All of that stuff, man. He got a big arm. He has some mobility. I was a big fan of Carson Wentz. The issues that I have, and is what you mentioned, well, really and truly, a lot of people made me start disliking Carson Wentz because they absolve him of a lot of blame. They make excuses for every single thing. I get it. Dougie P, he has issues right now. Like, he doesn't run the ball enough to help Carson Wentz. You know what I mean? To keep the defense honest. I agree. But like you said, it's certain things that a coach on field can't help. Wentz has severe accuracy issues. He's always had them. He has bad mechanics when pressure. You know, he makes very bad decisions and bad reads, especially in the red zone. Like, he turns the ball over at a high rate in the red zone. You cannot do that. You can't do that. You can't do it. He holds the ball too long. Those are things right there, man. So if you're an elite quarterback with the talent, he got the big arm. He got that. I get it. You got the big arm. At some point, man, you got to develop. You got to become a more accurate passer. You got to develop. You got to be able to diagnose the defense pre-snap, know where the blitz is coming from. Get your offensive lineman set up, whatever. If you got to change the play call, whatever. Get the ball out to your high reads. You got to do something. You can't look at the face of the blitz, hold the ball, and get sacked, and then let's blame it on the offensive line. No, we can't do that. You the quarterback. All right, so I'm off the Wentz train, man. Like, I'm really off the Wentz train. I seen a lot of people out there saying that his starting days as a quarterback in the NFL might be over. I disagree with that because he can always, once that contract is over, I don't think it'll be a smart business move to trade Wentz right now. Because like you said, it's too much dead money to be tied to that franchise. But I do believe if you put it's just like McVay with golf, right? If the run's working and the play action is working, I can make you effective. And you put Wentz with a great play caller, a very good play caller, that can put him in a position to succeed. I think he could be a really good quarterback. But as it stands right now, I think his day's done in Philly.
Yeah,
you should let Sean Payton resurrect his career.
Hey, look, the quarterback whisperer, man.
Yeah, I said at the beginning of the season, especially when after Dak got hurt, if Wentz couldn't win this division this year, then his start days in Philly is numbered. Like, if you can't win the division this year, like if you let Alex Smith or Daniel Jones win the division,
yeah, buddy.
There's something to be said about that. But speaking of quarterbacks, we're gonna hop on to that quarterback in New England. What's your thoughts on Cam Newton and about his future with New England and with the NFL in general? I'm gonna start with you with this one on this, Will.
Man, look, I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. I hate the way everything going for Cam. I don't think Cam Newton was set up for success in New England, but it looked bad, man. Like, it's certain things, like you can tell, like, okay, well, they didn't have the time. He don't have the personnel. But when you watch Cam's mechanics are terrible. Like, it's bad, bro. Like, Cam throwing balls 5 yards in the dirt before he get to the receiver. I'm like what's going on? So I don't know what the issue is. Like, I know we can throw out all that stuff. Like, you even mentioned it. McDaniels is a great play caller as well. But it seems like he's limited on what he can do with Cam Newton and Cam's current skill. I don't know what it is. Like, I don't know what happened to Cam. It just looks very, very bad. And like I know a lot of people are gonna allude to the they had so many players opt out for COVID. They didn't have a real training camp, so he wasn't able to integrate himself with the team and the offense, and everything's about timing and things of that nature. I get it. But when I'm watching the games, it does not look good. Like his form doesn't look good. Even when he's dropping back, he looks uncomfortable. Like it's really, really bad. It's almost like you just took a player and just put him at the quarterback position. Like he's not even a quarterback. Like his drops and everything look bad, man. I don't understand what happened to Cam. But I'm hoping they can get hot and do something because I want Cam to succeed, man. Because I like Cam, you know what I mean, and I want him to succeed, but it's not looking good, man. Like, I think if he continue this trend for the rest of this season, Cam might be done as a starting quarterback in the NFL.
Man, hurts me to say it. Before I even start, I'm probably the biggest Cam Newton fan there is. After 3 games of watching him play at Auburn, I said he was going to win a national championship. I mean, it wasn't the Heisman Trophy. Everybody thought I was crazy. I said, hey, man, it's one of the best college quarterbacks that's going to ever come through. And he won the Heisman. But I'm about to get really football nerdy on you guys. See, I'm a quarterback coach. You know, so like I said, I'm an offensive guy, coach quarterbacks. When you touched on his mechanics, Cam is what I have. He has an overarching release, which means he throws the ball over the top of his shoulder. Most quarterbacks come from inside their chest and in a natural throwing motion, just like you're throwing a baseball or javelin, and it comes out like that, a la Aaron Rodgers. Being that he has an overarching release, it gives him great touch on the deep ball. Because if you notice, Cam throws a beautiful deep ball. He hit N'Keal Harry on the sideline last night on a beautiful fade. He has a great deep ball. But when you have an overarching release and you have bad mechanics in your lower body, that's what happens when you throw dirt balls. Because you're coming down with such force, it's kind of like Tim Mayfield throwing that knuckleball. That's why he was never a starter. He can come in and throw a couple of innings for you, but he has so much torque going down that he can never really control it. And that's what Cam's problem is. That's why he struggles with the short game and the intermediate game, because he throws from an overarching position. If you watch last night when he threw that screen pass that got picked off, most quarterbacks, when they throw the screen pass, they fall back and they throw it right there off the side of the shoulder, keeping them parallel to the hip. All right. But as usual, Cam Newton comes from over the top, and that's why his ball sail. That's why when you see a receiver running an out route, the ball will be 4 yards to the outside of him. That's not being that he's just straight missing. His mechanics throw him off. For quarterbacks, like I tell my quarterbacks all the time, I can't do nothing. You can either throw the ball or you can't. My job is to fix your mechanics from your hips and your shoulders. And if you notice how Cam Newton throws the ball, and earlier in the season, you can see he actually took time to work on it. But when you're in trouble, and most athletes, you always revert to what got you there. Josh McDaniels did a pretty good job. And if you notice, they went on that 4-game winning streak. You started noticing Cam in the pocket. He was big chest. He was delivering balls on time. He wasn't thinking about it. Once he came back from COVID, they had a couple of injuries on the offensive line. He lost his starting running back, and things started moving a little fast. He wasn't getting the same protection. He reverted back to those same falling back, just letting that thing fly out his hand, you know, say coming over the top. And that's what causes Cam's demise. I hate to say that this is going to be his last starting job, but let's call it what it is. Black quarterbacks don't get that 3rd and 4th opportunity like their white predecessors. Just like white head coaches will get their 2nd and 3rd job, even though they got their ass kicked in their last couple of jobs. As black coaches and black quarterbacks, you usually get one opportunity. Robert Griffin hasn't started in the NFL since. You know what I'm saying? He was rookie of the year. People was giving him high praise. He never started another game in the NFL. So Cam is going down a bad trajectory. I hope he gets it back on track. And he actually may need a year to sit back and go back to the first topic. He may need to go to the Saints for a year and sit down with Sean Payton and refine his mechanics and see if he can resurrect his career. But everything starts with his mechanics. And like I say, like you said, well, it looks bad, man. And again, he doesn't have top flight receivers. He doesn't have a consistent running game. You know what I'm saying? I looked at it the other day. The Patriots have had 8 different running backs have played at least one down for them. They've had practice squad guys. They had guys that you never even heard of. Rex Burkhead is the second leader in rushing touchdowns on the football team. I mean, you can't get no consistency like that when you just together your offensive roster. It's not all Cam Newton's fault. I will say that, but we knew coming in. If you watch him coming into the league, you know he wasn't the most accurate passer, and you knew his mechanics were, touch and go from time to time. But as you get older, as those injuries start to pile up on you, you start reverting back to what got you there, and it's just the test of time, man. Like I said, I wish the best for him, but it's looking bad for my guy.
It is. It is.
Cam Newton. I say the Patriots, are they 6-7 right now?
Yeah.
6-7?
Yeah.
They got to finish 9-7 for Cam Newton to have a chance to be on the squad next year as the starting quarterback. They got to finish 9-7.
I agree.
But we're going to jump.
That's still for a slim chance. And I hate it, man.
If he loses to the Jets, it's over. If he loses to the Jets, it's over.
Yeah, done.
We're gonna talk about one more time.
Hold on. I got one thing to throw off. Everything you were saying, I eating that up. Boy, I came with the quarterback on everything. I like this. I just want to throw something out there because you brought up a name that I wanted to speak on. RG3. Hey, look, I was so appalled in Washington, man, when they had this man playing scout team safety. Do y'all remember that?
Yeah.
I'm like, come on, bro. RG, you don't lose the skill set that this man has lost. But a lot of this stuff, man, like kind of alluding to what you said, man, you just don't get those type of chances. And he already started off rocky with them drafting Kirk Cousins anyway. But I'm gonna leave that alone. We'll bring you back for another show.
I bet.
Before we get into our NFL picks, we're gonna talk about this last topic. We're gonna talk about Baker Mayfield. Now, when Baker Mayfield was drafted number 1 overall, I said in a group that this was in another group, Man Cave, that Baker Mayfield was the only quarterback that should have been drafted over Lamar Jackson. And for a couple of seasons, I was kind of regret thinking that. But this year, he proved me right. Without Odell Beckham, I mean, Browns 9-3 right now. They're looking in the playoffs. Actually, they still have a chance to win the division technically. So I'm gonna start off with you on this one, Will. What you think about Baker Mayfield and the Cleveland Browns?
Man, look, Baker Mayfield. Okay, first of all, y'all know I'm an Oklahoma Sooner fan. And I became an Oklahoma Sooner fan because I'm from Alexandria. I went to Alexandria Senior High. 2 guys I played football with, Chris Brown and Nick Harris, both went to Oklahoma. I became a fan. All right, so I'm an Oklahoma fan, man. And I was a big believer in Baker Mayfield pre-draft because, it's this it factor type thing about somebody. And it's the way guys rally around a quarterback. You know what I mean? And I thought he would be able to go into Cleveland and turn that thing around. But I think he went about it the wrong way. Because before he was actually able to show what he can do on the field, he was with a whole bunch of antics in the media saying certain things, and all that type of stuff. And I didn't like the way he approached it. But if we talking on field, man, Baker Mayfield, I just don't. Maybe the Big 12 was too easy for this man, and it's different, bro. Like, but this is the thing, Cleveland got to change, and I'm gonna say it like this: a run game travels anywhere. A run game travels anywhere. I don't care what time of year it is, what the weather's like. A run game gonna travel. You got Nick Chubb and you got Kareem Hunt. A run game will travel. Now, I know a lot of people throw out that the team became better when Odell Beckham got hurt. Well, when you lose a player like Odell Beckham, you don't become better. But what it has done, it has allowed Baker Mayfield to get comfortable with spreading the ball around. Because let's call a spade a spade. Odell Beckham is an alpha male. Baker Mayfield is an alpha male. They don't really mess that much. You know what I mean? So now he's spreading the ball around, not feeling like he has to force feed somebody or do whatever. And really and truly, man, the MVP of that whole team is Kevin Stefanski. We're gonna be real. He putting them in positions to excel. I like the Browns. It's all about the health of that defense. Is Ward back playing? Denzel Ward, is he back?
Yeah.
I think he's back this week.
I think he came back last week.
Okay. Well, you got Myles Garrett, Denzel Ward. Man, you got guys on that defense. I wish Greedy was anyway. You got guys on that defense, man, that can make plays. And that's what's gonna really help them out. the offense is gonna be the offense. They're gonna run the ball through Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, check downs to Kareem Hunt out the backfield. You got Hooper you brought in for tight end. You still got Njoku. You know, you still got Juice Landry. Peoples Jones been making plays. You got Higgins. They got pieces on offense around Baker Mayfield to set him up for success, and they're leaning heavily on the run game, which helps with two things, right? If you got a successful run game, you kill clock. That helps against a quarterback like Patrick Mahomes. You keep him on the sideline. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that they can beat him or they better than him, but I'm just saying they can come up with a formula to keep him on the sideline. You know, but the Browns, man, I like what they're doing out there, and I'm gonna have a bold take right here. I think the Browns gonna win that division over Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh gonna lose a couple more games.
Hey, before I'm glad you say you're an Oklahoma fan, and I agree with you. When Baker Mayfield had that, it even was in college. Boss, since me and you Alabama fans, I'm gonna see if you agree with me. When Georgia beat Oklahoma, I was so excited that happened because I really thought Oklahoma would beat Alabama. When Georgia beat Oklahoma in the playoffs, I got so excited because I knew we would have played Oklahoma. Oklahoma would have beat us, especially because we still had Jalen Hurts as the starting quarterback. Because we didn't win the championship because we had to bring two in the start. But yeah, I was excited. I was excited when Oklahoma lost to Georgia because they would have beat us that year in the championship. I'm gonna be honest with you. They would have beat us.
Listen, before we go on, hey, Wilkie said the Browns are gonna be one of the division.
Hey, I'm throwing a dart out there, bro.
I was just wondering, does your job drug test? I don't want you to get in trouble or anything like that.
Hey, look,
I don't want you to get caught up, bro.
COVID, man, you know. No,
man, listen. I like Baker Mayfield. You know what I'm saying? Like he does have that it factor. Guys do rally around him. But this is one thing I've always said about Baker. He's a fucking front runner. When everything's going good and I got people around me and it's rah, man, it's hey, Baker live up to it. But when he play them dogs, man, we know damn well the Big Ten has been Oklahoma's conference for the last decade. Every year Texas is back and they lose 3 games. Texas Tech, TCU, man, hey, none of that can compete with Oklahoma. All right, let's look at what's really going on in Cleveland. Nick Chubb is the 5th leading rusher in the league right now. That's the best thing they got going. They had a consistent ground and pound run game, and Kareem Hunt comes right behind him and gets his 4 yards a carry. Nobody talked about this, but Myles Garrett has probably become the 3rd or 4th best defensive player in the league.
Yes,
the
sir.
dude is a freaking monster. Like that's one thing you. That motherfucker is a monster. Denzel Ward is playing big, and their linebacking core is fast, led by my dog Mac Wilson. You know what I'm saying? That linebacking core, they're fast, they're nasty, they're mean. If you look at the Browns schedule, they beat the Bengals, they beat the Redskins, they beat the Cowboys, they beat Phillip Rivers, they beat the Bengals again, they lost to the Raiders, they beat the Texans, they beat the Eagles, they beat the Jags. The best quality win they got is they beat the Titans. That's their best quality win. We gonna see what they about come Monday when they play the Ravens. But every time they play stiff competition, the Ravens hung 38 on them for week 1.
Beat the
Steelers hung 30 on them week 6. Every time they've played somebody that was just as good as them, or maybe just a little bit better, they got the shit kicked out of them.
I agree.
Right?
I agree with you.
Baker Mayfield is surrounded by a pretty good offensive line, a good running game. He has a security blanket and Juice. He has he has 2 really good tight ends, and they're asking him to live off of play action. They're not asking him to stand back there and throw darts and dissect people. And you can attest to the message that I sent July. What did I tell you? I put in parentheses, the Browns are good enough. And what I'm expounding when I say good enough, every team in the AFC has a hole.
Yep.
What I told you about the Chiefs are beatable. It's just going to be hard as fuck to beat them. If you can run the ball on the Chiefs, you can beat them. But if you got Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, you can run the football.
Yep.
The Pittsburgh Steelers, they get cold on offense really, really fast. They'll have a game where they score 38 points, and the next game they'll struggle to score 21. So if you catch them on an off week, you can get it. If you slow down Derrick Henry in Tennessee, ball game. You know what I'm saying? You slow him down, ball game. So by default, yes, the Browns are a contender. I'm gonna say I'll say it out there. The Browns are a contender because again, if you look across the AFC landscape and the only other team you think about who I think is the second best team is the Bills. I really think the Buffalo Bills have solved their equation at quarterback. They have good receivers. They have a good defense. They have a good running game. They're a very complete team. They might be the most complete team in the AFC because their defense
I don't
is
like that
nasty.
run game.
They have enough of a running game. When I say that, if you got three backs that can get you, my number is 125 yards. You can get 125 yards on the ground consistently. You're always in good position. That gives you at least 15 first downs a game. That's how I break down the math. It gives you 50. That means you're consistently on the ground. You're moving the ball. It's giving you points, whether it's field goals or touchdown. Baker Mayfield again. When he's in. Look at the weapons he had in Oklahoma. Most of them are in the NFL. His whole offensive line is in the NFL. Most of the receivers are in the NFL. If you surround him with good talent, he's good. Baker Mayfield falls into the category of Kirk Cousins for me. He's not the problem, but he's not your answer. You feel what I'm saying? He's good enough to be a starter in the league. He's going to hang around a long time. But if you ask him to go out and win you a game, you're in trouble.
But look, this the difference for me with him and Kirk Cousins, though. I agree with you right there that I think they're in the same boat. The problem is Baker Mayfield got an ego though. Kirk Cousins cool with just being the guy. You know, I'm just another guy here. I'm not gonna lose you the game. Baker want the credit. I'm gonna tell you that now. Baker want to be the man.
And that's why I fuck with Baker. Well, I don't say he got ego. Baker drop his nuts. You feel what I'm saying? Like, fuck it, I'm macho. Put me on commercials. Bitch, it's me. I'm macho. You know what I'm saying? That's why when everybody says it's not going to work with Odell, nah, that's the type of guy Odell needs. Odell needs another alpha in the locker room to be like, bitch, I'm just as good as you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could finish you too. You feel what I'm saying? That's why I think they're going to – he's probably on his way out, but I think that's a good combination to keep. But like I say, I just don't think Baker's as gifted as a quarterback as people out making him out to be.
You got something you like? Cause I got something else. I was writing some stuff down too because I do got some questions though. Well, I ain't gonna say no questions, but
go ahead.
You want me to go? So look,
shoot the question. I got the answer, right?
I made that statement. So with Pittsburgh 11-1, right? And Cleveland 9-3. You know they play each other week 17. So check this out. This is the remaining schedule. So the Steelers got the Bills, the Bengals, the Colts, and then they finish up with the Browns. Now, in my opinion, that Bills and Colts game, both of those are games that Pittsburgh could lose. Going into
he's playing against Philip Rivers. That's a win. He's playing against Philip Rivers. That's all that matters. Philip Rivers is going to find a way to lose the game in the fourth quarter.
I can't say nothing about Philip Rivers. That nigga came and beat us, so I can't say nothing about Philip Rivers.
Then you look at the Browns, and to your point, Baltimore beat the sleeves off them people. They got Baltimore this week. Then they got the Giants and the Jets, two very winnable games. So if they can beat Baltimore, I feel like they got two winnable games with the Giants and the Jets. It might come down to that last game.
The only way I see the Browns winning that last game is if the Steelers already have everything locked up, the number one seed, the AFC North, and they arrest people. Because I just don't. I'm looking at the Steelers. They're gonna beat the Bengals. We know that. So that puts them at 1. Even if they lose to the Bills and to the Colts, that puts them at 13-3 with nothing to play for in the last week of the season.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If the Browns beat the Ravens, they should beat the Giants and the Jets. They put them at 13. They put them at
well, you read that. That put them at a tied record.
Right.
So
going into that last game.
Means the Steelers would have to. That means the Steelers would have to win to get the number one seed. So I think the Steelers will still win.
Look, Baker might drop his nuts. Like he might drop them.
I feel you.
All right, y'all. I want to get into these important picks because they got a lot of important games. We're gonna pick 5 games. I'm gonna go first and pick a game. We're just gonna make our picks. I'm gonna start off with the most important game I think in the NFC this week. Minnesota and Tampa. I think A lot is still on the line for Minnesota. A lot is still on the line for Tampa Bay. Both in current wild card spots right now. For that game, I'm gonna go ahead and pick Tampa Bay to win that game. Basically, because I think Tampa Bay is playing desperate right now. They need a win. Like Minnesota, I think they won 5 of the last 6 or something like that. I don't know, but Tampa Bay they need to win bad. So I'm gonna go with Tampa Bay beat Minnesota. Go ahead, Will.
All right. Well, look. I know I can't stand the Bucks because of these dudes that jumped on that bandwagon. But I'm not even gonna pick just to drive people this time. I'm going Tampa Bay, and this is the reason why. And I'm not gonna take too long. The Minnesota can control the game with the run game with Dalvin Cook. Tampa Bay stops the run. Tampa Bay.
Yep.
Who you got, Coach Bob?
Hey, how about this? He took the words right out of my mouth. The best thing Minnesota does is the best thing that Tampa Bay does. I'm gonna take Tampa in a close game. The point spread is 6.5. I wouldn't take the points on that, but I'm gonna go with Tampa.
All right, Will, you could pick the next game, Will.
All right, I think this game right here got playoff implications, man. So I'm going the Colts versus the Raiders this week. I'm taking the Raiders, man. I trust John Gruden. I trust he's gonna lean on. Y'all boy from Alabama. I can't think his name right now.
JJ, baby.
Yeah,
Josh Jacobs, baby.
Jacobs. Yeah. I trust that he's gonna lean on Jacobs. He gonna sprinkle in a little bit of Booker, and then he gonna sprinkle in a little bit of Jalen Richard. Shout out to Jalen Richard, man. He from Peabody. That's Alexandria, Louisiana, man. Shout out to that boy Jalen Richard. But and I like Derek Carr, man. I really do like Derek Carr. I think he's a very, very efficient quarterback. I think he falls kind of in that Kirk Cousins, Baker Mayfield type tier, man. He's not gonna necessarily win, but he's not gonna lose you anything either. So I got the Raiders in that one. Darren Waller has a big game too.
Man, I'm gonna be honest. What you said?
No, you go ahead.
I said, man, I'm gonna be honest, man. I've lost a lot of money betting on both these teams this year, so fuck them both. But being that the game is in Las Vegas, I'll take the Raiders with Josh Jacobs having 150 on the ground and 2 touchdowns.
Ooh, against a stout defense.
Yeah, buddy.
I'll go ahead and take the Colts after seeing what the Browns did to the Titans. I think that gave the Colts life to try to win that division. And honestly, I just think the Colts are a better team than the Raiders. The Raiders got away with a lucky win last week against the Jets. They luck gonna run out. I think the Colts gonna beat them by 10. All right, Coach and Ball, you got the next 2 games. You can pick the next 2 games.
Oh, the next 2. That's the 2 ones I got who I think gonna be the games of the week. The Sunday night games: Steelers versus the Bills. Bills come in at 9-3. Pittsburgh coming off a loss. You feel me? This has big time playoff implications because if Wilk is right and Steelers lose against the Bills and they lose against the Colts, you know what I'm saying? They have a tie lead and Bills could get the number 1 seed. So, and it's in Buffalo. It's gonna be cold. It's gonna should be a fun game, but I'm gonna take the Steelers by a field goal.
Honestly, I got the Bills by 7. I got the Bills by 7. Pittsburgh. I think Washington showed us a lot of things that. Well, Wilk, you already knew this.
Shout me out, man.
You called it last week. You said the Redskins was going to give Steelers their first loss, and I think the Skins proved you right. And I think the Bills going to come out with the same game plan, just with a better offense. So I got the Bills winning by 7.
I got the Bills. I got the Bills. And I'm gonna go as far as to say the Bills by 10. And this is why. Now I don't know if James Conner playing or not. I'm not sure. I know he had COVID and he missed the last 2 games. Benny Snell is sad. He's sad. I probably got more bursts than Benny Snell. You know what I'm saying? Like it's bad. And it's bad, bro. So I'm just looking at it, and I don't think they got an answer. I really don't think they got an answer for the Bills' offense, man. You got Diggs out there. If John Brown's coming back healthy, I know Gabriel Davis has been playing a lot of snaps while he's been out. Cole Beasley operating in that intermediate, that short to intermediate. Then you got two running backs. You got Zach Moss. You got Devin Singletary. I don't necessarily like either one of them, but they are effective in spots. They are effective in what they can do. But I would say Buffalo makes a statement. I think they're gonna win that game, man. Especially if Connor don't play. If Connor don't play, it's gonna be a problem because they don't have to worry about their running game as a threat to Pittsburgh. But Deontay Johnson, one of my favorite receivers in the league, just to let y'all know that, man.
Before I get to this next game, I'm just gonna say, you gotta talk about that Washington game. Be wary when you catch a team that done played 3 games in under 20 days. It was a perfect storm for Washington. All I'm saying, and I believe it's gonna be a low scoring game, which is gonna fit into Pittsburgh's wheelhouse. The second game, a lot of people are skipping over this game, but I think this has a chance to be a good one. The Chiefs versus the Dolphins. Chiefs travel to Miami. Brian Flores has the Dolphins playing amazing right now. He has really turned that program around. That shit was in shambles. It was a shit show. They had a fire sale just last offseason. They got rid of their best tacklers, some of their best receivers, got some rid of their DBs. And in 1 year, this guy has turned around. He has made every move the right way. He may be one of the first Bill Belichick assistants that actually come off that tree and actually do it. It all hinges on the thumb of Tua, how good that thumb is. I think it's a close one, but I still think Patrick Mahomes just a little bit, on that. He getting into that next level, man. Where those games that was close, it really don't matter. I'm just better than the
defense. Chiefs by 14. Tua, that's Tua, my homeboy. Ain't no game. Tua, but let's keep it real. Tua, game manager. Ain't no game manager beating Patrick Mahomes, bro. It ain't no game manager. I mean, if you look at the team that beat was the Raiders. Derek Carr had an amazing game.
And what is Derek Carr?
Hey, but he had an amazing game. He a better quarterback than Tua right now. And if you look at the Chargers, where the Chargers should beat the Chiefs, the Chargers actually should have beat the Chiefs. Justin Herbert, he ain't no game manager. I don't see Tua might get. I'm gonna be real. Tua might get benched again because the Chiefs gonna keep scoring. And man, I got the Chiefs by 14. Man.
I got the Chiefs as well because, like you said, the Raiders beat them boys. And what do the Raiders have? A bell cow running back. Man, you better run that ball if you want to beat the Chiefs. Man, I'm not about to trust Gaskin. What's the little Ahmed dude?
Hey, don't sleep on Gaskin. No, don't sleep on him.
I mean, he not sad, but he ain't finna be the reason they beat the Chiefs type guy. You know what I'm saying?
He young.
And the rest of my time that I got talking about this game, since I already picked the Chiefs, I'm just gonna go back to what did you call the Dolphins prior to I can't think of the dude's name. The head coach came from England. Flores. What did you call him before he got there?
A shit show.
Who was there? Who was there before him?
You talking about the coach, Adam Gates?
Yeah, that's why.
And got another big time job in the Giants.
One thing about it, Adam Gates is very, very consistent.
Oh, he's very consistent. His work is a pimp.
Hey, Will, I'm gonna go ahead and let you have this last game, Will.
You sure, man? You don't want to jump in there?
Yeah, go ahead. Take the last game.
Man. Look, I'm gonna go. Well, I was gonna go. I don't know if I want to mess with the
upset alert.
I don't know if I want to mess with the Saints. So this one I'm gonna go because I think this game right here has a lot of playoff implications. Y'all might be surprised with the game that I'm about to go with. I'm going with the Washington football team at the San Francisco 49ers. And the reason why
I'm going to see y'all later, man. I'm out of here.
Hey, look, Washington's still alive in the NFC East, and I think San Francisco has a chance to make the playoffs. Man, that's just me. But I'm going with give me Washington in this game. Give me Washington over San Francisco. and give me a field goal.
Now I'm gonna go with San Francisco. San Francisco technically do got a chance to make the playoffs, especially if we all got Tampa Bay beating the Reds. Oh no, Tampa Bay beating the Vikings. So San Francisco definitely got a chance of making the playoffs. But I think they're getting healthy. They're getting back on track. Washington. I mean, it's a good story with Alex Smith. Comeback player of the year. But yeah, I got San Francisco by 7.
I'm gonna clear this up. San Francisco has no chance of getting into the playoffs with that shit. I hope I don't have to watch a single snap of this game. And if I just had to pick somebody, shit. I'm gonna go with Kyle Shanahan. Fuck. 49ers by 3. Damn.
We can't end on that game. Pick something else, July.
No, hell, please no. Please no.
One more game. Y'all want to pick one more? Y'all want to pick one more? I'm gonna pick the
bonus game. The bonus.
Hold on. Let me see. Let's do the Cardinals and Giants. I think
that's the one I
said. Let's do the Cardinals and Giants. Man, I keep picking the Cardinals every week because to try to back up my statement they was gonna win the division, but man, it's looking bad for me. I got New York this game, man. I think New York playing with this confidence that they could win the division. Daniel Jones, at first I was calling him another Eli Manning, but Daniel Jones, he's looking real good these days. Giants I don't know if y'all know this, Giants got a real good defense. I think top 3, if I'm not mistaken.
Number 4.
Number 4? Oh yeah, I got the Giants winning by a field goal.
I'm gonna let Coach finish this out. I'm gonna let him finish that segment. I know he's gonna come with the heat since he picked that game. I got the Giants as well, man. And this is why. Like, we already know about the defense. We know about the guys that got on that defense. The defense is playing out of his mind. What people really failing to realize is since Sterling Shepard came back, the offense has been a lot more fluid. People sleeping on these games that Wayne Gallman has been having. Wayne Gallman been toting that rock, man. Wayne been toting that rock, and I think they've been doing a great job with getting Evan Ingram involved. Early on in the season, man, like he was just another guy that's out there running around. I think they've been intentional, on getting him involved and getting him involved early in games. That's what I got.
Right,
hey man, I'm glad you touched on that because Wayne Gallman single-handedly saved my fantasy team. You know what I'm saying? When Saquon Barkley went down, he swooped in, he put the team on his back. Shout out Wayne Gallman. But they have a good running game. But this a lot of people don't talk about. If you go deep into the advanced stat, Giants are one of the best special teams in the league. They're in the second in punts per game and they're third in touchbacks. So they always make you go a long distance for you to get points. And as a defense, if you already have a good defense, if guys got to consistently put 60, 70, and 80-yard drives together, that kind of favors you as a defense. But I'm gonna take the Giants by Philly. But hey, what's up with Kyler Murray? When everybody was saying he the next little baby, so he that dude. What happened to Kyler Murray, man? What's going on?
I still think he's better than Lamar Jackson. I mean, that was my argument from the beginning. Like when the Lamar Jackson, Kyler Murray argument, I still got him better than Lamar Jackson.
I just feel you give Lamar Jackson, DeAndre Hopkins, it's a whole different story. You feel what I'm saying? Kyler Murray takes off when new catching passes that nobody's supposed to put their hands on. And goddamn, Lamar Jackson still got to pick out which one of his 3 tight ends he's going to throw to because he doesn't have a receiver. Think about this. They signed Dez Bryant to money. They're so bad at receiving. The Ravens signed Dez Bryant to a contract. That lets you know about all the weapons you need to know that Lamar Jackson has at his disposal. I feel like I'm the only one defending Lamar Jackson. His line play is not the same last year. Mark Ingram looks like a 37-year-old man back there. He looks like he had gum on the bottom of his cleats. 2 of their top 3 tight ends had COVID. I'm just saying, man, I'm a ride with Lamar. He's going to put on the show Monday against Packers. That's all. Cocky.
All right, everybody, you picked that game too, Will? Yeah, you picked the Giants.
Yeah, I got the Giants, man. I got the Giants winning that thing, bro.
G man.
All right, y'all. It was nice chatting with y'all. Coaching Ball, I want to bring you back for our first
Yes,
episode
indeed.
to begin the year. Because you know our next episode gonna be the award episode. But to begin the year, to
Just make sure I get. Just make sure I get my football analyst award. Baby, I'm out here spitting files.
Hey, you gotta come back, man. You gotta come back.
Hey,
I'm always down, man.
To kick off 2021, I want to make sure you on that podcast for sure.
Yes, indeed.
Gotcha.
Because if I'm not mistaken, what we're gonna be in week 16? No, we're gonna be in playoffs, huh? We're gonna be in the playoffs.
We should either be wild card or division round first week. Because they got 3 weeks left. There's 3 weeks left in December. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. But yeah, I want to bring you back for sure to kick off 2021. But our next we're gonna have one more episode. No, yeah, we're gonna have one more episode, and then we're gonna have the award episode the day after Christmas. That's gonna air. Yeah, a lot of special things going on with that. But just want to tell y'all, God bless, man. Nice having y'all on the show. Always a pleasure, Will.
Yes, sir.
Bringing it every day. But yeah, finally got you back on, James Coaching Ball. But we're gonna start getting you back on to talk a lot of football, though, man. I like what I'm hearing.
Yeah. And I'm always here for it, man. I love this shit, man. Hey, bro, it's one of the best sports group I've ever been a part of, man. I love what y'all doing, bro. It's always fun. I've got to start working on my acceptance speech for the award show and shit. I'm going to shout y'all big home. It's all good.
All right, man. Y'all have a good one.
Y'all be good.
Man, bless.
Yes, sir.